Hey everyone, Temper Thompson here. So, first off, if you can hear me good, then please just give me a yes in the chat box before we get started. Just want to make sure you can all hear me good. And once I hear back from you, I'll get started. All right, so it sounds like everyone's saying yes, you can hear me. Great. Okay then, so hey everyone, glad to see that a lot of you have joined, and I'm really excited to get started. So, for now, let's just wait a couple minutes for the others to join, and in the meantime, please submit your questions in the box below. Anything related to Kindle, you can submit a question on, and just to let you know, of course, I can't answer everything because a lot of people will be sending in questions, but I will get through as many questions as I can. So I'm just going to wait a minute or so for more of you to send in your questions, and then we're going to get started. I've already got a few ready to go, but let's just wait for some more people. So about 30 seconds, and we'll get started. Okay, so I see a good amount of people are sending in their questions. David, send in your question. Thank you, David. Laura. Thank you, Laura. Okay. So again, anything about Kindle, it could be general questions, it could be specific questions. Just whatever you're wondering about Kindle, just submit it and I'll answer it. That's the whole point of this webinar. So I'm looking forward to your questions, and in a few seconds, we're gonna get started. All right. Thank you for the questions, everyone. So let's get started. And the first question I have is, how do I get more reviews for my books on Kindle? Okay, so this is a really common question, and there are a lot of different answers. But I would say that the easiest way to get more reviews for your books is to go on Facebook and join a review swap group. So there are tons of these. If you just go on Facebook and type in Kindle reviews, you'll see a ton of these, and just send in your request to join the groups. And basically, once you're in the group, when you want to get more reviews on your Kindle book, just post your book in the group and ask people for reviews. And in return, it would be good if you review other people's books as well, because those review swap groups are basically communities of Kindle publishers reviewing each other's books. So I think that's one of the easiest ways to get genuine reviews for your books. Of course, the easiest way would be to pay for them, but that is against Amazon's terms of service and it's not very ethical. So I don't recommend that at all. I recommend going to Facebook and joining one of those review swap groups and getting your books reviewed there. Okay, so now on to the next question. Let's see. Again, you can still send in your questions right now. It's not too late. Okay, so here's a good one that should help out a lot of people. The question is, how do I set up a free promo for my book on Kindle? Okay, so yeah, this one's really simple, and I understand a lot of people might be confused with that, so let me just go over this briefly. So to set up a free promo for your book on Kindle, so what I'm going to do is pull up a live example here so that you can all see it step by step. And free promos are great because they get people to, they boost your book's exposure, and once your book goes back to being paid, the ranking is higher and you should have more reviews. Okay. So just a second while I pull up an example. All right. Yeah, I'm having some trouble here with Kindle, so please bear with me a second. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this over to the other screen. Okay, there. Okay, so this is how to set up a free promo on your book. So as you can see, you're here on your dashboard, and then you go to the book you want to promote. So these are some really old books of mine. So under book actions, go to promote and advertise. And then free book promotion, select that, and then create a new free book promotion. And then you just select your start date and end date. And then click Save Changes. And you're done. So that's how you set up a free promo. Okay. Hope you found that helpful. So now let's go on to the next question, which is, where should I go to get a cover for my book? And this is a really common general question that I see a lot. How do I get a good cover for my book? I know that a lot of people make the mistake of trying to make their own covers. And I'm going to say, unless you're a professional graphic designer, then please do not make your own book cover. And instead hire a book cover designer to create it for you. Because the book cover is the first thing that people see when they see your book. That's what you want it to catch their attention. You want it to bring them in. You want to connect. You want to catch their initial interest with your book cover. So it's really important to invest in that by hiring a cover designer. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be as cheap as $5 to get a book cover created if you use Fiverr.com. So now that's my first suggestion, Fiverr.com, if you want to get a book cover created. So let me pull that up over here. This is the website Fiverr, and you can see here fiverr.com. So if you want a cover for your book, you can just type in Kindle covers and search for it, and you'll see all these options. And really, as you can see, it's book covers for $5. And I mean, it's crazy. You can actually get a decent professional looking book cover for this cheap. So, and you can just select any of these. And here's some examples from one seller. I'm not affiliated with the seller. I'm just showing you an example. As you can see, they're not bad looking. Some of these sellers specialize in fiction books or nonfiction books. So I just recommend that you make sure that you choose a seller with good reviews. So you can see this person seems to be better for fiction books. Okay, and so it's $5 for a cover. So that's my first recommendation. And there is another place that's better than Fiverr. I always recommend to people, and it's called goonwrite.com. So just let me pull that up. Okay. So it's goonwrite.com, and the book covers aren't as cheap, but you see what you're getting before you pay for it. So it's less risky and you get exactly what you want. So let's say you have a romance book. You go to the romance section. There are tons of options here. Some are good, some are not as great, but you can find something that you like here and it could work for your book. And options like these are much better than designing them yourself. So that's my recommendation for getting a book cover created. Okay, so on to the next question. Okay, I have a few more questions listed here. I'm just seeing which one to go for next. And again, you can send in your questions in the box below, and I will answer them still. It's not too late. Even if you send it in now, I can still get to your question. So I'm just pulling up the next one right now. All right. So here's a good question, which should apply to a lot of people. And this question is, how long should a book be to publish on Kindle? And my answer is there's really no specific answer that I can give to this question, because your book can be as long or as short as you want. And really, it's the content that matters, not the amount of content. So my suggestion would be to make your book as long as it needs to be. No more, no less, whatever you think is good. However, if there is one thing I could tell you, it would be that I have noticed that around 10,000 words is the sweet spot for Kindle books. And that's around 30 pages on Kindle, 10,000 words. I've noticed that anything under that, people tend to think that the book is too short. Anything over that can be good, but a lot of people will think it's too long. A lot of people just want a short book, but not too short. And so I've noticed 10,000 words tends to perform the best. It gets the best feedback, generally the best reviews, and generally more sales. So 10,000 words, which is about 30 pages on Kindle. That's my recommendation, if I could give a specific recommendation. Okay. Okay, now I'm looking for a next question. Here's a good general question. And this one is, what is the best format to upload a book in? Okay. So I would say, hmm, I've noticed .docx to be a really good format for publishing. When I've used that, converts it tends to convert really well when you publish your book to Kindle in the .docx format. I've noticed almost plenty of formats will work. I think I've tried PDF, RTF, a ton of them, and they all work, but some convert over better than others. And from my personal experience, I've noticed that .docx tends to work the best and have the least errors when you publish it. But things always change, and I'd recommend looking at Amazon's website for that. But I do know that the last time I looked at Amazon's website to see about this, they recommended the .docx format, and that was only about a month or so ago. I looked that up. So yes, best format to upload a book, I would recommend .docx. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. As you can see here, I'm trying to go through the most general questions first because they can help the most people at once. And the more specific questions, I'm trying to save those for later. And I will get to as much as possible. But basically, I'm looking for the general questions because they can help more people. But I will answer the specific ones. So I'm looking for more questions now. In the meantime, as I've said before, please send in your questions. I see there are a lot of people on here, and not everyone has submitted questions. So if you haven't, please feel free to. Of course, you're not required to submit a question, but if you have one, that would be great. And of course, I can't answer everyone's, but I will get to as much as I can. So just a second here while I pull up the next question. Okay, here's a good one. I like this one. John asks, I already have some books that are live on Amazon. What can I do to increase their downloads? Okay, so basically, how do you boost the sales of your Kindle books? And my answer would be there are a ton of ways to do this. But let me think, what are the most simple options and the most reliable options? Well, you can make your book free on Amazon, and that works great. Basically, as I showed you before, how to set up a free promo. That often works, and it's the easiest. It doesn't always work, but basically it works by when you make your book free, you can get a lot of downloads, and that will make your book go up in the rankings, which can get you more reviews, and when your book becomes paid again, your book is still high in the rankings, so more people see it and more people buy it. However, there are more powerful and effective ways to do this, and that I would say one of the easiest and most powerful things would be is to do a paid promotion on your book. So basically, you make your book free for a day or however long, usually one day, and then you go to a book promoting service and you pay them to get your book featured on their website. And the price can range a lot. The most popular one is BookBub, and it's also one of the most powerful ones. But that one is not cheap. That one costs hundreds up to like $600, I think, for a book promotion. And also, it's really hard to get accepted to BookBub. And I've tested a lot of these out. My favorite one is, I'm going to pull that up here on the other screen. My favorite one, when I used it, my book got to number 60 free in the entire Kindle store. And I got, I think, several thousand downloads while it was free. And then when it became paid the next day, I got, I think, 60 or 70 sales at $2.99 just 24 hours after. So these are really powerful, and that one costs $25 to get your book promoted. And as I said, I got 60 sales at $2.99. Definitely made that back in the first day, and I got a lot of reviews from it too. So let me pull this up in the other screen just a second here. Okay. So let me pull this over in the other screen. Okay. So this is my favorite website to get a book promoted. So basically here you pay $25, but there are some requirements. You need 8 reviews on your book first. So that's going to be kind of an issue, but I'd recommend going to the review swamp groups on Facebook to get those reviews. And I think you need at least 3 stars on your book. So yeah, basically you just enter all this information for your book. You pay the $25 fee and they will promote it. And this one's my most recommended version, my most recommended option. And that is it. There's the link. Okay, so I'll send the link to all of you. I'm going to do that when I send out the replays. I will post the link either on the replay or in the email so that you can access this. Okay. Now I said that one costs money to do, but there are free ways to do this. However, they're not as effective. So if you just type in free Kindle promotion on Google, you should be able to find a lot of ways, a lot of places that you can submit your book and get them promoted for free. But the thing is that they don't select every book in that case, but they pick and choose through all of those submissions, and they might choose your book. And really, it depends on the quality of your book. But if your book is good, they'll choose you, they'll promote your book, and you should get a ton of downloads, a ton of sales. So that's my answer to how to get more downloads on your Kindle book. I would run a promotion, make your book free, and then submit your book to one of these promo sites and get your book promoted. And as I mentioned, I'll send out the link when I send out the replay, so you can all access that recommended promotion site. Okay, so now let's go on to the next question. Again, if you still haven't submitted your question, it's not too late. Just submit it in the chat box below. Just a second, I'm just sorting through the questions here and seeing which one I should answer first. So just please bear with me a moment. Okay, I found a question. This question is about publishing your books through a publishing company. So this one is from Stan. Stan says, I have 4 ebooks out with Strict Publishing. They are not selling. I have no contract with Strict, but they did design the covers. Should I submit these books to Kindle with the same covers or new ones? Okay, so to summarize this question, the question is, so basically this person has some books already published with a publishing company and they're not selling, so they're thinking about getting them published on Kindle themselves. Okay. Now, I've never worked with a publishing company, so I couldn't say. However, as long as it doesn't, if you're allowed to publish your book independently, even though you've done it through them, then yes, I would recommend publishing your book on Kindle yourself. And you're asking if you should use the same covers or new ones. Well, if the covers are good, then use the covers. However, if they're good covers, they're gonna bring you sales. But if they're not good covers, then I would get some new ones designed. I'm sorry I can't answer that one too well because I've never worked with a traditional published company. I've only done self-publishing. Okay, so that's about most of the questions I got so far. If you have any more questions, please submit them. I'm just doing a double check right now to see if there are any more questions before I move on, because I do have something else. Okay, so that about wraps it up with the questions. You can still send them in, and I might be able to get to you. However, don't leave yet, because now I'd like to present a really neat opportunity to you. This won't be for everyone, but if it's for you, it can really benefit you. So let's go. So I have one question. Who would like to work one-on-one with me to take your Kindle business to the next level? Give me a yes in the chat box if you would be interested in this. If you want to work one-on-one with me to take your Kindle business to the next level, give me a yes in the chat box. All right, looking at the chat box now. Yes, yes, yes. Seeing a lot of yeses. Okay. So if you would be interested in taking your Kindle business to the next level with my help, then I recommend that you go to the link below, which is bit.ly/KindleGo. And I know it's a bit.ly link, which I know it looks kind of weird to see a bit.ly link on this, but I set that up kind of last minute, so I apologize about that. I know bit.ly links aren't the most professional. But anyway, bit.ly/KindleGo. And that's not selling you anything. It's just a survey asking you a series of questions. And so you just fill out the questions and I will go through all of your responses. And if I think you're a good fit to work one-on-one with me, if I think I can help you, if we're a good fit, then I'll follow up with you by email and we'll discuss this to see how we can take your Kindle publishing business to the next level. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go over the survey really quick just to show you. All right, just a second. For some reason, I can't get this survey pulled up. Okay. So here it is. I'm just going to go over it with you. So here's the survey. If you go to that link, that's what you'll see. It's just asking you enter your full name and email. Tell me a bit about yourself and your experiences with Kindle publishing to this point. How much money do you currently make from Kindle per month? What are you struggling with? What are you struggling with in Kindle if you are struggling with anything? What makes it hard for you to see results in your opinion? Would you be interested in a special opportunity I have where okay, so question number 5 is about how I have a done for you Kindle publishing service where I'm going to work one-on-one with you to create a series of Kindle books that we can publish on Kindle and earn royalties from. I'm sorry. I will give you a series of Kindle books and you will publish them onto your Kindle account and you will earn 100% of the royalties from it. But it's completely done for you because I'm doing all of the work for you. I create the whole series, I create the cover. You just publish it and earn money from it. So the question is, how interested would you be in a program like this if spots were to open up? And how much do you have to invest in your success? And so those are the 6 questions. And if I think you're a good fit to work, if I think I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for me, so that we can work one-on-one to take your Kindle business to the next level, then I'll send you an email and we'll follow up as soon as possible. So there's the form. And again, there's the link, bit.ly/KindleGo. And you can go to this link even after the webinar's ended. It's going to be up for a few days. Again, it's just a survey. It's a free survey. It doesn't cost anything. It's not selling you anything. It's just a survey. a simple survey to see if we'd be a good fit for working with each other. If you want to take your Kindle publishing business to the next level, then I honestly really recommend that you fill out that survey, and we'll see how we can help each other. Okay. Just checking the chat box to see if there are any other questions really briefly. In the meantime, please go to that link bit.ly/KindleGo and fill out the survey. And we'll see if what we can do to how I can help you. How I can help you make more money from Kindle. Okay, so I got another question saying the question is draft to digital a good way to go? Well, honestly, I couldn't say because I've never used them, so I wouldn't take my word for it. I'm not really sure what they do, but if you think it would benefit you and make your Kindle books more successful, I would go for it. I don't see why not. If it's going to help you, go for it. If you see a good opportunity, take it. And that holds true with anything, I've realized. Okay. So, it looks like that's about it. Again, as I've said before, you can still fill out the survey even after the webinar is ended. It's going to be up for a few more days. I'm going to send out the replay as soon as possible with links to that promotion service and with links to this survey that you can fill out if you want to work more one-on-one with me. And that about wraps things up. This has been a great webinar, and I'd like to thank a lot of you for joining. And I would like to say, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm not a public speaker. I'm just a Kindle publisher. So I apologize for me not being too great at speaking because I'm not a public speaker. That's just not what I am, so I apologize for that. So again, that about wraps things up. This has been a great webinar. Thank you for joining. And my final words are, please go fill out the survey because it's been great working one-on-one with you to help you on this webinar, answering your questions. I've been working with you to help you. If you want to work one-on-one with me even more, then what you need to do is fill out the survey because that's the next step in taking your Kindle business to the next level. And that's all I had to say. Like I said before, if you see a good opportunity, then you know you should take it. And this survey is a great opportunity. It's not selling you anything, just if you want to work one-on-one with me, fill out the survey. So thank you everyone for joining. This has been a great webinar. Glad to have a lot of you here. I will send out the replays tomorrow and see you on the next one. Goodbye.